Lovely good evening to you, our viewers. Welcome to it. This is Camnet Main News Desk. We just want to make mention that next week, Friday, Dr. Waliangandu, Minister of Finance, will be presenting the national budget for 2021, and Camnet TV, as usual, starting next week, Monday, will be bringing you updates on that. Now we look at the stories making headlines on our news desk tonight. Persistent water blues in Garden Compound angers residents. Second phase of mobile national registration cards set to commence tomorrow. And paper attributes Zambia's failing economy status to poor government policies. In international news, UN Sustainable Development Goals way off track after 5 years. And finally, in sports news, under 15 soccer lads leave for Croatia. Join me shortly for the details.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we are looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
you can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill, next to Hilltop Hospital.
Contact us on
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Thank you so much for joining us. The details. Residents of Lusaka's Garden Chilulu area have expressed disappointment at the manner in which the Lusaka Water and Storage Company has been handling water and sanitation-related challenges in the area. The residents have disclosed to Camnet TV that despite several attempts to report the situation to the relevant authorities, nothing has been done. They have further disclosed that due to the water crisis in the area, they have resorted in fetching water from a nearby filling station and in a process contaminating the water. The frustrated residents say they have been consuming contaminated water for quite some time. Details in this report.
This filling station, located in Garden Chilulu compound, is now the hope left for the people of this area despite the water being contaminated. The area, which has for a long time experienced massive water crisis, has left the frustrated resident with no option but use this same water for their day-to-day activities. Dry taps is what is seen at each yard.
The water is not coming out.
The residents have disclosed to Camnet TV that despite addressing the situation to relevant authority in person and through the media, nothing has been done. They claim that Lusaka Water has been promising to work on the issue but to no avail.
Bantu ngani pakati hapa balisa tubikira na mapipe ya nyumba ba council but fima ndeko ve tavuko na mesh taarifu hapo tukusukira fa ku mesh ni hapa pa filling station elo na mesh hapa filling station yalanuka na oil teti munwe nokuno ngate hapa pa filling station twako mmache chali mupepi elo na wena kali bali kwata mabovo nishikuli pi twalipira twatapa kwa mesh yakuno ba water and sewerage bala pitamu baisa na mku kuma meter reading nga baisa mku reading a meter twabe bameshita kuli chizapereka nkani kuli bakuru bani bapereka nkani kuli bakuru but problem tabai solving elo katushe foto alaikala na ino ishte ya covid barenda tiyo mule samba 10 ishta tukwetwa la samba 10 fenja ishta tukwetwa.
It remains a disturbing factor to note that access to safe and clean water has continued to be a challenge, as water is critical to the health of human life, especially during the time of this pandemic of the COVID-19. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Still on matters to do with water, the Lukanga Water and Sanitation Company in Kabwe has commenced works to replace a collapsed 5.1-kilometer sewer collector in Natseko area in Kabwe District, Central Province. The sewer line, which was put up in the 1950s, has been in a deplorable state for 3 years, posing a health hazard for diarrheal diseases like cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. The development has been necessitated by Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Jonas Chanda, who on the 23rd of August 2020 toured the dilapidated infrastructure, where he directed Lukanga Water Supply and Sanitation Company to immediately have an overhaul of the infrastructure. The project has gobbled 8 million kwacha and is expected to be completed on the 31st of October 2020. This is according to a statement issued to Camnet TV by Water Development Ministry Public Relations Officer Amos Zulu.
The Kabwe sewer situation, or the sanitation system in Kabwe, was a disaster. So when I visited towards the end of August, the sewer lines in Kabwe were collapsed. They were totally vandalized, gone. Those sewer lines in Kabwe were made in the 1950s. Yeah, but you find that for the past 3 years, they were not able to take sewer into the sewer ponds. So that sewer was now, the raw sewer was going in an open area in Kabwe, and people were even encroaching on the raw sewer areas, constructing illegally. So it was a disaster, it was a danger to human health, actually, what is happening in Kabwe at that place. So with that, what we've ordered Lukanga Water to do, and which I'm happy they have started doing now, is to replace that whole 5-kilometer sewer line. They have already started replacing. It will cost 8 million kwacha to finish those works, but what we want is that all those the sewer in Kabwe, it has to go into the sewer ponds. That is the way it has to be treated, not the way it has been happening on open space. And like I said, we have what we call open defecation, which we're trying to reduce in the country, to eliminate it actually. But in Kabwe, what was happening is like you are creating a whole problem, having an open defecation area, So Lukanga Water is expected to finish that project by October. So by October, we expect all the sewerage in Kabwe to be going in the ponds, not in the open area the way it has been. Otherwise, that is very hazardous, dangerous to human health. Diseases like hepatitis, cholera, dysentery, typhoid, those are the dangers there. People are even farming those. When you farm in an area of raw sewer, it means that when you take those vegetables at a market, it's already contaminated and people will be sick. So I think the Kabwe situation is an emergency, but Lukanga Water is working on it, and by October they have to finish.
The Lusaka City Council has partnered with various stakeholders in cleaning Bauleni Market as part of the commemoration for the World Cleanup Day. LCC Public Relations Manager George Sichimba says this is an annual exercise, but people should not only wait for the day to make their surroundings clean. He has called on all stakeholders to move away from their comfort zone and the usual speech addresses by working on the ground. The day was being commemorated in line with the local theme of Keep Zambia Clean, Green and Healthy. Details in this report. Lusaka City Council today, Saturday 19th September 2020, with its cooperating stakeholders commemorated World Cleanup Day by cleaning Bauleni Market. The cleaning involved unblocking of the main drainage at the market and disinfection of premises, as well as collecting waste. The event was commemorated under the theme Make Zambia Clean, Green and Healthy, using the local theme. LCC Public Relations Manager George Sichimba has advised everyone to take part in this important commemoration.
Today is World Cleanup Day, and so various stakeholders have teamed up with Lusaka City Council to commemorate this day. And this day is commemorated by the actual cleaning action. When it was invented, the purpose is to clean and not just to sit in hotels and give speeches. That's why you have seen stakeholders. We have Lions International, we have ShopRite, we have Lusaka City Council, and we also have the community up here. you can see the work that they are doing. And this is the best way of commemorating such days. And so we are very happy to cooperative partners that they teamed up with Lusaka City Council to show by way of doing things on the ground and not just speeches. So we want to implore other stakeholders that in future or next year's event, they should join hands with the Lusaka City Council so that apart from disseminating the information about keeping our environment clean, they will also take part in the actual cleaning so that people can join in and see that we are very, very serious about solid waste management.
Mr. Sichimba is, however, concerned about the pace at which people take part in cleaning programs such as this one. The Lusaka City Council team was joined by market traders in the cleaning exercise.
The improvement hasn't been so good, but by us coming here to demonstrate, we hope that things will change. In the past, people were gathering somewhere to give speeches and do that, but we are evolving to do the actual work so that people can join in. Today, we are very happy to see ordinary residents of Bauleni have joined in the cleaning. They are cleaning in front of their shops, in front of their homes, and so this is a very positive sign in terms of mindset change.
The World Cleanup Day aims at raising awareness of the mismanaged waste crisis by mobilizing all spheres of society to participate in cleanup actions. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka. Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo has officially launched the second phase of the Mobile National Registration Exercise, which will commence on the 20th of September 2020. The exercise will run for 40 days and will cover Lusaka, Central, Muchinga, Western and Southern provinces. The minister says the first phase of the Mobile National Registration Exercise, which covered Copperbelt, Northwestern, Northern, Eastern and Luapula provinces, was successful despite it being characterized by some political cadre interference. Meanwhile, the minister has warned foreign nationals who may want to take advantage of the Mobile National Registration Exercise to desist from doing so or face the law. Details in this report.
Government has commenced the second phase of the mobile registration exercise, which will commence on the 20th of September 2020. The exercise, which will cover 5 provinces, is targeted to issue 730,000 national registration cards. Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo disclosed this during the launch of the second phase of the national registration exercise.
The exercise shall run for 40 days and will cover the following provinces: Lusaka, Central, Muchinga, Western and Southern province. Registration teams will visit all corners of the provinces in phase 2 in order to accord everyone, including those in far-flung areas, to access national registration.
The minister has also disclosed that the first phase of the exercise was very successful despite some political interference.
It is gratifying to report through you, our dear colleagues from the press, that the first phase of the mobile registration exercise, which covered Copperbelt, Northwestern, Northern, Eastern and Luapula provinces, has been successful.
Meanwhile, Mr. Kampyongo, he has called on other stakeholders such as traditional leaders, the church leaders, political leaders and the media to help in sensitizing the importance of this exercise.
You commit a crime, we deal with you in accordance with the law. We don't look at who you are. I heard some politician talking about someone being a parent. How can they be slapped with a charge of aggravated robbery and malicious damage? Who the hell do you think who you are to question the law? Question the law. Don't question those that implement it. The law that is in place is what is applied on each citizen who breaks it. So my appeal is that to those of you who are politicians have stipulated the roles you are going to play. It doesn't cover you storming the the places where our officers are working. It doesn't. Sensitizing is very clear. You sensitize our people to appreciate the exercise.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
In other news, the government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, will soon include freedom fighters across the country in the relief food support. DMMU National Coordinator Chandakabwe says freedom fighters are an important part of the society who need everyone's support. Mr. Kabwe says government values the contributions made by the freedom fighters in the liberation struggle, resulting in the freedom that the country is enjoying today. He says even though government already put the freedom fighters on various support programs, there is need to further engage them in other support platforms in order to ease their livelihoods. Meanwhile, Mr. Kabwe has called on the freedom fighters to take a leading role in uniting the country by condemning all tribal talks among the political leaders. He was speaking when he met a group of freedom fighters called Mposamawe in Mwansabombwe, and Mposamawe Freedom Fighter Group chairperson David Kapongwe says the program, once actualized, will help a lot of people who are struggling to meet in all parts of the country.
In the office of the Vice President where I am, these are the issues I deal with. So I will escalate your issue to the office of the Vice President so that we see how best we can help you.
naliye shiba aya mashibu kyo nalondorola kuti muna bomba fya buteko kufika n'opona bungwe chama freedom fighters techibungwe chama politics na kalia ama politics twalinayo ibyo twaleka biro kupoka ubuntu ngokufuma mu maboko y'abangeresi batutekere ubusha. We fought for this independence so that our people can stay well. Now what we are seeing is very worrying. People are fighting each other. This is not what we fought for. We need to work hard, work together so that we can make our country a better place for our future generations. Ubuteko bunga twafirisha ko tosambirisha abana kufyalwa aba ifyo bakwiye gutunga icyalo cyabo mu mutende ukwabulo kuti batangishe fya tupatulula bifinsho kutukana kupumana na karia silefwa kwa kuti utati basunge icyalo cyabo buino okuchula twachulile nipakupa mulando akapatulula kakweta abangeresi padi baifwe ekena ina nzitabana basikalira pakapatula mukatumbuka imbuli nempera ya mbuli kuipayana nempera ya kuipalana.
You're watching Camnet World News. Just now we take a break, but still to come, HPCZ holds the illegal offering of environmental health technology programs at Lubotho City College of Health Sciences. Stay with us.
I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not pure glycerin.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel CROATIA mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Opposition Patriots for Economic Progress (PEP) National Chairman Daniel Kauma has charged that poor policies with regards to implementing the national budget has resulted in the collapse of the economy. Mr. Kauma explains that the Zambian economy has been collapsing, especially this year, owing to the fact that government has failed to stick to the things enshrined in the national budget. Mr. Kauma says the ills in the economy cannot entirely be blamed on the negative effects of COVID-19. His remarks comes in the wake of the 2021 national budget presentation next week, Friday, with comparisons on how the 2020 national budget has fared this far.
I think the reason why our economy has gone a downward spiral is ballooned also by the poor policies and strategies of the current government, the Patriotic Front. There's a number of decisions that they continue to make, a lot of impulsive decisions, like the President has alluded to. They continue to borrow extensively to fund projects which may necessarily not be in the best interest of the nation, but best suited to propagate their popularity in certain geographical locations of this country. So those kind of strategies and policies and their reactive behavior to such and their inconsistencies in their policies are some of the reasons that we have a downward spiral in our economy.
All People's Congress Party leader Nelson Musoni is concerned with what he terms as high levels of degradation of politics in the country. Mr. Musoni charges that the recent activities in the recent by-elections in Mwansabomwe and Lukasha is a clear demonstration of political degradation and should be condemned by all. He says it is increasingly becoming more difficult for practitioners of politics of substance to project issues based on policies, as these are brutally ignored by people in preference to those with hidden agendas. Mr. Musoni is therefore calling on all political players to revert to politics of substance that add value and help improve the welfare of the people by helping them to choose wisely. He says it is important for all political leaders in the country to help promote unity of purpose among the people.
Are perturbed and disturbed at the vitriolic attacks and the general abuse of each other by political practitioners. We think that politics does not present a perfect platform for leaders to abuse each other in the manner and style that we have noticed during these immediate past campaigns. And we think that the role of political leaders at any given time, at any given occasion, should be one to promote unity of purpose, building bridges between our people. So if you are going to fragment our people, you're going to fragment our citizens in that manner and style, how do you intend to govern the country? How will you be governing the country? Because then you have scattered the flock, you have scattered the people, you have preached hate speeches. So we think that as politicians, we have a moral duty in the nation to ensure that at every platform, we use such platforms to enhance and promote peace. Okay? So we think that a divided people can never register sustainable development. So I counsel my colleagues that whatever the motivation is, the question of unity
Moving on in the news, the Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ, has halted with immediate effect the illegal offering of environmental health technology programs at Lubuto City College of Health Sciences in Luansha, Copperbelt Province. The training institution has been offering the program for more than 20 students without certification from HPCZ, which has the mandate to recognize and improve health training programs. HPCZ Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Wembia Walwa discloses after engaging with the school management. Details in this report. The Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ, is a statutory regulatory body established under the Health Professions Act No. 24 of 2009 of the laws of Zambia. The council has been given the mandate to register and regulate all health facilities in Zambia, both private and public, and training institutions teaching health sciences. In its quest to ensure quality training is offered by all training institutions, the council has been conducting inspections to check for compliance. In this regard, institutions that are failing to meet the standard are punished accordingly. Lubuto City College of Health Sciences in Luansha, Copperbelt Province, has been stopped from offering environmental health technology programs.
You cannot use the justification that you are trying to help. You don't do a wrong thing in the name of helping the community. It doesn't work that way. And I think you need to get that very clear. It's not the first time you are being engaged. So what does that show? That you want to break the law with impunity. Because it's not the first time. You have been engaged before in a similar way. And what that shows is you know the procedure for approval because you have been engaged before. And you have chosen to ignore that path. But instead, you want to justify it by using affiliation with the University of Zambia. It doesn't work that way. The University of Zambia is not given the mandate to approve a program. So you want to run to conducting an exam when, in the first place, the institution has not been certified to start offering that program. Is that the way we are going to help people out there? By doing wrong things? Is that the way we are going to help the people? So tell us how you are going to help the people that you've kept here, train them in circumstances that we don't even know.
And Lubuto College of Health Sciences Director Michael Mukange has admitted that the students were initially being trained in environmental management but were shifted to environmental health technology after alleged correspondence with the University of Zambia, to which the institution is affiliated to, failed.
Yes, as an institution, we're looking forward to not throwing my students in the dark or throwing them away after assuring them with a scholarship which I've been giving them. But we are looking forward to normalize everything, to make sure that everything is put in place. But it's because of the misleading that we had with the University of Zambia. That is why we ended up having the program of EH10. Otherwise, we wouldn't have started. But we were told, we are given that leeway to say, okay, you can continue. But in this case, we are guilty, but don't want a situation whereby people start saying, there was Lubuto there. Oh, there's some members of staff who are sitting in the college. They ran away because some problems came towards them. But we want to sit here. We want to sit and face what is there. Face what you're supposed to, the penalties, and later on, see to it that we normalize everything. We do everything according to the book.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Kennedy Malama has lamented that there will be a surge of COVID-19 cases if people fail to adhere to the state health guidelines. Dr. Malama was speaking during the daily COVID-19 update, where he says there is need for strict adherence to measures, especially when schools open next week, Monday. The country has, in the last 24 hours, recorded 48 new cases out of 1,410 tests conducted bringing the cumulative total of cases to 14,070, and 158 discharges have been recorded, with no death, leaving the death toll at 329.
The health sector, in a multi-sectoral manner, continues working with the education sector closely to ensure that we give all the support. We therefore appeal to the learners, the students themselves, the parents, the teachers, to fully support the opening of learning institutions so that together we protect the health and well-being of the learners and the students. It is clear that for children and young people, evidence has shown us that as much as they may not develop the disease so far to the same scale that we've seen in adults, children and the young people remain a risk group in terms of transmitting COVID-19. Zambia in the last 24 hours has recorded a total of 48 new COVID-19 cases out of a total of 1,410 tests which we conducted. And these reported cases are in 7 districts. Nakonde gave us 22, Lusaka 15, Chirundu 3, Chipata 2, Kabwe 4, Livingstone 1, Kalomo 1. This therefore gives the cumulative number of cases in our country at 14,070. And when you look at the 48 new cases we are reporting on, they are further broken down as contacts to known cases were 6. And these are 3 from Chirundu, 2 from Lusaka, 1 from Chipata. We also had 12 whom we screened and picked COVID-19, 12 of them from healthcare facility.
Marian Shrine Orphanage has received assorted items from On-Side Fuel Managing Director Shimwa Kambole and his team. Speaking to Camnet TV on the sidelines of the donation, Mr. Kambole says his company has pledged to help the orphanage on a long-term basis by helping them pay certain bills. Mr. Kambole says he understands the plight of orphaned children, hence coming on board to complement the effort that the church is doing in shaping the lives of the children in the positive way.
Advanced Solutions Limited. We've been in operation for about a year under On-Site Fuel Direct, and today is a special day. It's my birthday and also coincides with the fact that today marks 1 year of service, or rather operations in On-Site Fuel Direct Limited. I decided to give to the home of joy, because I've always had the urge to give to the orphans. I was a single orphan at the age of 2, and my mother always used to have birthdays for me, but when things became tough for us, she stopped celebrating those birthdays for me. And it got me thinking, I was a single orphan and my mother was able to provide. What about the kids that are double orphaned? Do they have an experience of having a birthday? No, they don't. So my birthday, I just want to share with the orphans. We want to continue celebrating with the orphans at this institution. In fact, every quarter we will be coming here to celebrate birthdays with all the kids that have had their birthdays. We will also embark on a monthly support program, either helping them with electricity, water bills, or fixing their vehicle. We are yet to finalize on what aspect we're going to pick in terms of monthly support for the orphanage.
As of today, you're watching Camnet News. We take another break. Join me shortly for international and sports news.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant save nations to develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Welcome back. We now look at international news. Next week marks 5 years since United Nations member states committed to a set of targets meant to improve the lives of the people around the world. But the plan to achieve sustainable development goals by the year 2030 is way off track, and the coronavirus pandemic has not helped. In other news, people have been casting their vote in person in Minnesota, Virginia and South Dakota for the United States presidential elections. Voting by mail is already underway in other states. We monitored Al Jazeera for these stories.
At a special, while still socially distanced meeting at the UN, strong words aimed at global leaders from one of the world's youngest yet best-known campaigners.
5 years have passed since the United Nations members agreed to the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals represent the future of millions of people, of girls who want to go to school, of women who fight for their rights, and of young people who fight for a clean air and a safe planet. So far, you have not kept up with your work. So I'd like to know, when are you planning to do the work?
Malala Yousafzai spoke in support of the Sustainable Development Goals when they were launched 5 years ago, an ambitious plan to improve life around the world, lifting people out of poverty, battling illness and disease, and fighting the climate crisis. But the goals weren't on track before the outbreak of the pandemic, and the UN Deputy Secretary-General told me COVID-19 has made things even harder.
We can make the projections of the millions that are going to be pushed back into poverty. It has pushed back access to health services, because in weak health systems, the focus has been on how to deal with COVID. It has also taken kids out of school, and we've not been able to get them back online.
The head of a group that's been doing research into the progress of the goals tells me they're not just behind schedule, but decades behind.
Well, the good news is that the world is making some progress. It is moving forward. But the bad news is it's nowhere near fast enough. Based on our projections on the Social Progress Index, we're not going to hit the SDG targets until 2082, 52 years too late.
So what's needed to get these goals back on track? Most experts say greater cooperation among world leaders, but that's been severely lacking during the period of the pandemic.
From the shores of its 10,000 lakes, Minnesota looks too serene to be a battleground. But Joe Biden and Donald Trump are treating it like one.
Billionaires in America during this pandemic have made another $300 billion. Hear what I just said? In the middle of the pandemic. They're left to wonder, as a consequence, ordinary folks. Who's looking out for me?
Biden has even pledged to terminate our travel ban, jihadist regions. They've already been doing that to you, haven't they? Opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorists.
Long a reliably Democratic stronghold, Minnesota hasn't voted for a Republican for president in nearly half a century. But it came close in 2016 when Donald Trump did better than expected in rural and suburban areas. His campaign says the state remains in play this time around. The first test of the election came on Friday when voters in Minnesota and 3 other states cast the first in-person ballots of the presidential polling. Biden's campaign says he will be making a couple stops a week, focusing heavily on early voting states. With the polls open, both candidates are campaigning in the northern mining area known as the Iron Range, once a Democratic stronghold, more recently the site of a pro-Trump rebellion. Biden wants to hold on to a traditionally Democratic state. For Trump, if he can win here in Minnesota, he can lose in one of the other swing states he won last time and still have a path to victory. The death of George Floyd in Minneapolis fueled anti-racism demonstrations across the country and Trump's call for law and order.
When the far-left rioters rampage across Minneapolis, and they rampage across your state, how about your police department? Let's just run for your lives. And it's not their fault. They were told to do that. You have a good police department, you have good police, but they're not allowed to do their job.
The campaign stops on Friday showcased the two men's views on the pandemic. Biden's cautious crowd was socially distanced, masked, and sparse, while Trump supporters were largely maskless, close, and crowded.
Trump has given up on even pretending to do his job. Almost 200,000 lives lost in the last 6 months.
Polls show Biden ahead here, as they showed Hillary Clinton ahead in 2016. But Trump is confidently telling voters to ignore the polls and cast their ballots for him, this time in Minnesota as well.
We now look at sports news. In sports news, the under-15 national team have left for Croatia to take part in the second edition of the 8th National Vlatko Markovic National Tournament. FAS Technical Director Lyson Zulu is leading the delegation and comprising under-15 coach Mbewe and other members. Speaking before departure, Mbewe declared his 23-man squad ready for the first international tournament since assembled after countrywide selection. FAS President Andrew Kamanga saw the boys off. The video footage is courtesy of FAS.
We remain confident that you're going to represent the country well. This is just the beginning for you. It's the first time as a country we are sending the national team at under 15. We've got plans with the technical bench to also have an under 13 and under 11 national team so that we can continuously build more opportunities for you, the players. So on behalf of the Football Association of Zambia Executive, we wish you a safe trip and enjoy yourselves at the tournament. Don't be too scared. You can make mistakes, but it's a learning process for all of you. So we wish you well and travel well, and may God be on your side.
We wish the boys well as they represent the country on the international front. That item brings us to the end of our news, but before we go, the headlines once again. Persistent water blues in Garden Compound angers residents. And second phase of mobile national registration cards set to commence tomorrow. And PAPE attributes Zambia's failing economy to poor government policies. In international news, UN Sustainable Development Goals way off track after 5 years. In sports news, under 15 soccer lads leave for Croatia. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from Ephesians 4:29, and it reads, "Do not let any unwholesome talk out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, and it may benefit those who listen." That's all we could accommodate for you on the news desk. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good night.